What is going on to my RDDC familians? Yes, that is how I pronounce it and how I say it.
Family.
Welcome back to another episode of the Truth Seekers Mastermind Alliance. We need like the words to just pop in, like, like, I don't know how to explain it. I can see it, but I don't know how to explain it. So
Oh,
try to visualize that while I said that. Go back a little bit, rewind that. And today, we are here on this beautiful, lovely Rogue Day. And I say rogue because there might be a couple discrepancies that you hear in the background from everyday life, as always, because we have yet to set up the actual studio due to different personal and the reasons that just get in the way. Okay,
yeah,
so
your personal reasons, absolutely.
please don't mind the noise, the background noise. If you hear something knocking, which I really doubt it, probably us. So don't check your door. Don't get scared. Don't get alarmed. But anyways,
Lawnmowers, and all. So let's get this
lawnmowers and
back.
all.
I'm on the lawnmower side, and we're on the family cusp of just having relatives be relatively around. So anyway, this is a natural conversation. We get it. Things happen. Like he said, the doorbell might ring. It might be DoorDash. We don't know. So
You never
at the
know.
end of the day, you are on the True Seekers Mastermind with RDC hashtag Real Double Dose channel and Flip the Switch as well as HBH as Heck versus Hell, where the truth he was just telling. But we're going to get into this conversation because we're going to keep it long enough but short and concise. I hope you can hear because right now all I hear is the lawnmower irritating me. And I know people have to do their things even from their commercial levels, but it kind of gets to the point where you out there who know what the recordings feel like, you can't control your environment a lot. But make it happen. And that's a part of life. And hopefully maybe one of you right now are going through the same issues of our families making noise or neighbors making noise or people driving by or whatever. So let's get into it. And then you want to roll out the episode name for us, Mr. HVH? Start.
Let's do it. The episode name today was given to us by the one and only, of course. You know who it is. We
Alexis
know it.
T,
We know
that's me.
it.
If you're on this
It is
channel, you can look at our links. Then you know who we are. Go to the blogs, realwchannel.com. We're getting all this stuff rolled out. .blogspot.com. SoundCloud has all the other stuff. Yeah, different ones. The links to everything's posted. So if you're new on here, thank you for coming. And we're not quite all
and
over the
welcome.
place. Yeah, but we're not gonna sugarcoat it. Life happens, and we had another meeting before this, so it's kind of like we're getting in another meeting after this. So it's a good thing, and we're gonna come back with a part 2 segment possibly. So
Correct. Correct.
you might want to get out your Bibles, those who understand what a Bible is. If you want more education, like I'm saying, you can Google it to find one is, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows what the Bible is to a certain point. If not, follow along with us. If you go on your phones or tablets, wherever you are, to open up another window, you can do that as well. But we're going to read it off to you on the basis of the conversation today. So, let's roll it out. Let's let Heck take over what he does so we
Let's
can get
roll it
into
out.
it.
So this episode today is called the Job Revelation. Okay. And we say that in terms of, like Lex was just saying, in terms of the book of Job. If you haven't looked into the Bible or read it and just heard about it, the book of Job, to give a little quick synopsis and summary, is about a man who is a righteous man. And in the book, it starts off with God pretty much saying, well, look at my son. He's a righteous man. And he's speaking with the adversary. Okay. And so they're having this conversation, and God is over here pretty much saying, okay, well, my son is a righteous son. My son is a righteous man. And Satan, quote unquote, tempts God. I say quote unquote because God can't be tempted. He does what he will and what he wants. But he pretty much starts saying, well, God, I mean, he really only loves and worships you because you give him everything, And Job was a wealthy man at that time. He had hundreds of sheep, so many cattle, everything he had ever wanted, a big family, a huge house with maidservants and all this other stuff. And that's what he was telling him. He's like,
There's
well,
probably thousands at this point. I mean, he was
right, yeah,
richest one of the land. So he
yeah,
had
oh
thousands.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was telling him, he's like, well, because he has all this, that's why he loves and worships you. And God was like, okay, well, I'll allow you to test his faith.
Well, how about this?
And
Let's just rewrap this for those who are kind of brand new to this, because we'd rather just read it from the passage itself so those won't get confused on how it started. And then we
okay,
can give them that follow up, because it is kind of hard. I like the way you're breaking it down, but I want them to see it for themselves instead of just hearing it as a story time from us
yep,
on here, But okay, so let me read this, and then Heck's gonna follow up with everybody on what's going on with this to give you the meat and potatoes
the meat
of
and potatoes.
this. Yeah, so I got this right here from BibleStudyTools.com. And it's basically, it says Job 1, prologue. In the land of Uz, UZ, right? There lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep. Oh, wow. See, where you go.
Mm.
3,000 camels, 500
Oh
yoke of
wow.
oxen, and 500 donkeys. That's a lot. And had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons, verse 4, his sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. You see how diligent Job was, regardless. He still thought
Mm.
about, let me make sure my children are set right, even if they're not doing right, whatever their hearts are may be. Okay, so verse 7, the Lord said, where we go? So okay, so that was their custom since verse 6, regular
Mm-hmm.
custom. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord. Wow. And Satan also came with them. Wow. Wow. The Lord said to Satan, where have you come from? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on the earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch
Mm.
out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has in your power and is in your power. But on the man himself do not lay a finger. Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Verse 13. One day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby. And the Sabians attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. Oh, exclamation mark. Sorry. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. Verse 17. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. 18. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they were dead. And I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshiped and said, naked I came from my mother's womb. Get this, everyone. Hit it. And naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, verse 22. Verse 22 says, in all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was deep. Okay, so that makes sense. So now Heck doesn't have to go through.
There you go.
Yeah, so now when you hear, you're like, oh, he said it this way. No, you don't have to get confused. That's what it is. It might be a King James version, a New English version, an English Standard version, but that's deep. So what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
that was actually the first book I read in the Bible, and it was deep because I mean, first off, he was so righteous to the point where he wasn't using his possessions, we'll say, right? All the animals that he owned for himself. He was actually using that to sacrifice for his children. And not only that, but he understood his role as being created by God to not blame him what is wrong and right because I mean God is righteous, God is just, God is
Yeah.
love, and God giveth and taketh. So yeah, I love that right there. It,
Yeah, I mean the revelation of Job. So, at the end of the
mm,
day, what I want to say in here is everybody just think about this for a minute. If someone had come into your life and taken your whole house, your puppies and cats were just gone, everything had happened, your car got taken away, you couldn't get insurance for it, the money back. Someone told you your house was being foreclosed on. All of a sudden, unfortunately, and God forever forbid, and if it be God's will, your children pass away or your loved one very close to you passes away. Would you still? And these are the notes we had. Are we willing to come to God if everything is taken away from us? And the next one is, are we willing to search and seek the life force within us, even in these situations? So it's a moral of a story. So it's really not that hard of a longevity conversation. It's not about the length of this broadcast podcast. It's about the hitting home of it. And that's what Truth Seekers Mastermind Alliance is. Now we are having part one and part two so we can kind of marinate on this and kind of get to a conversation of it. And it's not a rush factor inside of your mind to say, well, let me think. Well, yeah, you should. If you have to think that deep, it shows you how far you are from your relationship with God. And that's facts. You might say,
mm,
well, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, it does. And you can't say, oh, I haven't picked up the Bible lately. That's just not it. That so as Christ said, you search for the scriptures trying to find life, and here I am. So the book of life, it can give you, is almost like a manual. It's a handbook. It's a deep discussion to let you get to know the character or the habitants of human form that has dealt with our Lord, that has been there. So we can say, well, no one in humanity has ever been around the God. He never talks to anybody. Well, this is proof and evidence. And if you say, well, I
mm-hmm,
can't believe it. Well, how can you watch a documentary about someone's so-called life, whether they have photos or not, that can be photo shop now, even for years, now besides AI, and believe that? Or why do you believe the stories that your abuelos and abuelitas tell you, or the grandmother and grandfather, your uncles and aunties? We weren't there to witness it. When we hear about certain events with our parents and they don't have a photo to remind us, and we believe their word, right? The word is very important. It's very taken in. So now it shouldn't be, oh, it's just a huge mass movement. And those who are on here already know what the game is when it comes down to not playing games. It is true. Are we willing? That's the whole thing. Are you willing to come to God if everything is taken away? Now, from my perspective, I'm gonna say, hey, REDC families, yeah, because I've known that, and it's different for me because it's like, people that, oh, well, you've known of God this whole time, or your relationship is different. Yeah, well, how can you not though? I mean, heck, but think
right.
about this. How can you not? Like, if you know that everything was given to you from the creator of all things, I know we would feel like, oh man, what do we do? Like he hates us, or we made a mistake. Now even Job was going and sacrificing to make sure he knew, I'm gonna put an offering before God just in case they did anything in his sight, any blemish that I couldn't take over. I'm gonna make sure it's done. Like he's covering the tracks before they're even made. And that's the beauty of it. They were drinking and being merry and going to have a feast. I mean, come on, they had the life. So for him, I believe a part that we're missing. I don't know. I almost said Papa.
And that's what's even more beautiful actually is because the fact that he was doing that and almost like preemptively, like you were saying, preemptively washing away their sins before they even did anything, in a sense.
Yeah,
And even when he found out that they were all killed, he didn't blame God.
yeah, that's true. Um,
So in moments like those, yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. I would say it's hard, but it's also the most common time when people go to God. Um, Whenever we're in those type of situations, because like myself, I didn't grow up knowing the character of God, knowing the character of Christ, knowing all this knowledge that I know now. I grew up in a Catholic church of even lukewarm Catholics at that. They had certain type of faith, but I was never taught these different understandings and revelations that I now know. um So my experience was whenever I was at an all-time low, that's whenever I did start to pray and get to that point of crying out to God, because I guess it's a point where you have to go to him. You know, even if it's wanting to understand why something happened or wanting some kind of comfort, because we all need and want that. But the difference is Job was already living in that lifestyle and you were too. So, you know, that's a whole different perspective. So from that perspective, do you think a lot of people go to him or curse him, you know, trust in him like Job, or they kind of turn their face away from him a little bit and kind of blame it on God from your experience?
I mean, I guess I'm saying I could speak for a whole. I'm gonna say for people, okay, well, I don't think that's very right. Oh, a lot of people say that's evil. That's so evil that that's taken away from someone. That's like giving a milk bottle to a baby and snatching it from them. But
Right.
it's not. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna do a series on this for everybody, and I'm probably gonna do a YouTube channel more so you can see it. But it's about being the creator of your universe and a whole written depictional way of books and so much more. People say I auto write. I can write with my eyes closed, just on a straight line. I can write full sentences and everything else as a computer would with my hand. It's called auto writing. And now some people say a spirit takes over you and you start writing, but I've been doing this since I was a child. So at the end of the day, it's a whole different flooding where you can actually inhabit the spirit itself and what is going on inside of you to be able to write those things down if you are the one to have it. I feel like I can, and now Heck had said the other day to me, he said, you remind me of Joseph, the story of Joseph in the Bible. That's something we're gonna get to as well. Don't worry, that's coming. And part of Job, there's so many different parts that remind me. And I'm like, yeah, I thought about that the other day. I'm like, man, how does that really mean? I'm like, I've had so many things taken away, but some might say, well, how much stuff did you have? Okay, well, it's been life taken away. And one thing I noticed, I never, for me personally, right? Um, and this verse right here from Job 3:25 says, "For the things which I greatly feared has come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me." So that's another part of it. That's what we're gonna have part two of it. But I look at that and I'm thinking, man, so he said the things I have feared the most. So even though he did his steps and making sure everything was good, he still had that fear. And that's something that God knew when he offered that. God offered that up to Satan. Have you seen my servant Job? So he
Mm-hmm.
also felt that the thing that I fear the most, so at the same time, God felt and knew those thoughts. Okay, well, you fear that the most. So what will happen in that fear? Now, God knows everything. That's why he selected Job to be the one that was tested. Because God already knew what was going to happen with that. Obviously, free will is a part of it, but God still knew. Now, I have written books before where the character turns on me as the writer. Ah, yes, it gets deep when that book series. You
Mm,
don't even want to know, and you can actually hear
I
them
do. I
and
do want to
feel.
know.
Yes, you can, because God gave us a creation to be many creators. Uh,
Yeah.
that part of the God force is what we are. The angels are not called his sons. Now they reference it as man, saying the sons of God. No, but God didn't take it from his flesh, his seed, his part, and his image and likeness. He created the angels. He didn't have it from his loins. We're a part of the loins, accepting it through Christ. So I look at that and I'm thinking, man, how come? One thing my mom always instilled in me is no matter what, when she asked that question, you run to God over me no matter what. I said, well, how will I know it's God? And she said, you'll know. And I didn't understand at the time as a child, but I understood. She said, everything that you see, God is mine. And I would choose God over you as my child. That struck me. Like, oh, what you mean? Like, mom, are you serious? But then I thought about it and she said, God gave me you and he gave, vice versa. So I didn't even understand that I could comprehend it, but I did. And it's a lot more intelligence that we don't teach the young because we think they're too ignorant, but they know a lot more than those who claim that they're old. So I will say that from my part of it is from this part one series of the Job Revelation, we're going to get deeper and you have any conversations. We're going to have those open. I know you guys have been asking how to have more of an open dialogue and stuff. And I know a lot of you don't mind reaching out to Double Dose, and we have to have a different kind of email that we are setting up so Heck can have more management over in us as well. Because a lot of people are just don't want to be attacked through the comment section. We get it. People just they completely just go for you and try to go in, you know, and we get it. We don't
Right.
feel that.
I've
Um,
done that. I'm guilty of that a little bit too.
well, you know what I mean? Like someone will just be like straight trolls, you know, just
Oh
it,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, a lot of people are doing that now where they can have people email in for quite a bit of time. And I'm glad we started that trend a long time ago for ourselves. But I just want to say everything that you have is given to you. And you say, well, I don't have much. So what else can be taken away from you? There's a lot more that can be taken away. And it's not about the test of something being taken away to say, oh, I'm going to see if you still love me. Now, get this. A lot of times in my life where people come in, they expect things out of me. Oh, hey, can I borrow this? Can I have this? Can you bring me here? And I never said no. And the moment that I took that away, I saw, and it can't be compared to this, obviously, but on that scale. But the moment that I took it away, it was like no phone, crickets. They tried a couple of times. I'm like, man, it blew me. You know, I really like, oh wow. So you've only been hitting me up and texting me, keeping maintenance, so you can, you know, at the time where I wasn't spiritually discerned, I was kind of like more humanified, want to quantum discern. But I was thinking, man, that really showed me something many, many years ago, many suns and moons ago. And I was like, man, it kind of made me feel like you almost had to test everything. The Bible says test everything. And I looked at that, I'm like, man, this person that just called me for this. So if I reneged on getting them groceries or gas money or sending them stuff, or a person calling for this, that means, oh, I had to go do something else because, you know, you fell through and I had to have, so you had to have a backup plan. So you completely neglected our relationship as a friend or whatever. As it didn't make any sense to me, where I was like, man, so the only thing, so I realized that when a person, and this doesn't mean a person can come in and just, oh, well, I can't ask this person for nothing, otherwise I'm not authentic. It just means you got to put in just as much work as you expect out. Simple as that. You're not going to sit there and plant a seed, put it in the ground, and just dry dirt and no sun, no water ever comes, it's just under there. No, there's stimulation to every relationship. We need to give something to it. If you are not a useful person in any kind of facet, you won't find a job. You won't find anything going on that you're looking for, a career, parenting. No, you can pop out a baby all you want. If you're taking care of yourself when you're pregnant, are you even giving the baby or changing the diaper? Are you in a relationship? Are you even loving your spouse? Are you giving them what they need in that retrospect? Oh, I'm working for a company, but I want to sit back and put my feet on the desk. Oh, just give me a check. So at the end of the day, everything takes work. Everything does, but it needs to be a good balance between you and it and them. And that's what I want to say about that part right now. I don't want to get too deep in the details before we have to go to our next meeting. But I know Heck's gonna finish this out, and I want to let you know this is part one. Okay, right back. You're gonna have part two, so don't get too, you know, far away from it. But I just want to
This is
say,
just like a little intro teaser
yeah, there you go. We got a show trailer or something. I forgot what
trailer.
it's
There you go.
called. Yeah,
A little
it's
trailer teaser.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's just to open the door into the next conversation, because my mind was going everywhere on the ways we could take this, in itself. Um but no,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's something very important to even evaluate in ourselves, is to go and look, do we blame God for the bad and not blame him for the good?
Absolutely.
Because we could see Job was blaming him for the good. He was like, "Oh yeah, God has blessed me," and even Satan knew that. He's like, "Well, you have a hedge of protection around him, so how could he
Mm-hmm.
not? You give him every reason to thank you."
Mm-hmm.
And there are different times where so many people forget, once they get to that position that they always craved and prayed for, they do forget who gave them that, who
Absolutely.
blessed them with that, but
Mm-hmm.
vice versa too. Some people only thank God for the good and then kind of hate him for the bad. So it's like a spoiled little brat. No shade, but that's how that's how it kind of is.
Well, you know what? I want to add to that. You're right about that 100%. I hope everyone, RDC family, HBH community, because I know you guys are only dedicated to Heck versus Hell. We still love you. But I'm just saying, you pop up when he pops up. I get you.
Some
Uh,
Heckians,
no
you know what I'm
shade. We
saying?
love you all. We're happy to your support. But here, you got me triggering. I know we're supposed to transition right now, but at the same time, I just want to put in there for part two. Heck, I have my mind going more. But think about that though. Like ultimately, that's the same thing. Like you really have to look at that from two. Like search within. Like when people say, well, why should I have a relationship with God? And why should I know about, everyone wants to put a label on Christ, what Christ was, what Christ isn't. At the end of the day, you need to respect why you still have the audacity to breathe and have the attitude you have. Oh, I didn't ask to be here,
Amen.
but you are. And there's nothing
Amen.
you can do about it, because the only way you're going to leave out of here is if God decides to swoop you up into the clouds and basically do what God does, or you're going to be closing your eyes, which we won't feel it anyway. We can't avoid what's going to happen anyway. We're going to go to sleep. And that's what sleep is resting for when it's time to get what we have to do. So, I'm going to say resting, but sleeping. So think about this when we leave you with these nuggets, right? I don't know about the fries, but we got the other side. Ultimately, when you think about that, aren't you negating the fact of getting to know yourself when you don't get to know God? Now, not to say
Mm.
that you're on a God force level where you can say, and I command, McDonald's to give me free food for a year. No, I'm just
Mm.
saying, like, it gets,
Not yet.
not yet. But I look at that point, and I hope the audio is okay. Zoom is really giving me some headaches with this moving my audio thing back and forth. Right now, for some reason, it wants to fight against me. Although I will say that, like, in knowing that, when you see your baby look at you, when they can't speak and they can only look at you with those big, beautiful eyes, whatever may be going through, you sit there and you stare at them and you wonder what's in their little minds. What are they thinking when they stare back at me with their little glossy eyes? Everything is a part of the God force. And when you get a chance to look at that, you're leaving and neglecting yourself. And if you already have self-esteem issues, we got something for you. Don't even worry about that. On a whole nother level, deeper than just what the eye can see. You're not trying to get a relationship with yourself to know anything about yourself, to make every relationship you have the greatest. And that means parenthood, relationship, everything. So you're neglecting yourself all the way. You're putting yourself down. Every time you don't want to know anything about the creator who gave you the life that you have, regardless if you're sitting there, and homeless people have more humility than anybody who has it. Most of them do. And it's not because they just hit rock bottom, it's because they can see the whole view from the bottom down all the way up. They can see it all. They can see what's going on. They can see what happens over here. Oh, I didn't know how I need to shower. Yeah, that may be so. They dilapidated. They got what the corrosion is. But some of them are the happiest people, not because they don't have to pay bills. It's because they got a chance to be stripped down. A lot of people, I had it all. I had this, I had that. And all of a sudden at rock bottom, I lost my house, I lost my car. Now I'm out here on Skid Row. A lot of them had seen more than most of us will ever see. So just think about that. You're not getting to know yourself. Don't look at God as the ATM machine or anything. And Job didn't, but he understood whatever I have doesn't mean that I stop loving and serving the Lord as diligent as I am. That's authenticity. That's God saying, look at my servant Job. Look at him. He's so strong in his love for me, no matter what. But God needed a witness. There needed to be a witness. Okay, well, Satan had a point, though. That's why God introduced him in. Hey, well,
Absolutely.
that's cool. You saying that's your servant, but like, oh, that's your girl, right? Let's go for humanity. That's your girl, right? Yeah, that's cool, bro. But you're buying her Ferraris, getting her nails done, getting her hair done. She ain't got to work for nothing. And of course, she love you, man. Oh, that's your dude, right? Girl, you hook him up with some nice this and that. You have his meal on the table every day. You rub his feet. You don't complain. I guarantee you started slacking on that, not doing your hair, and he ain't gonna want you. And then lo and behold, you find it out. And maybe that person needs help not to
Mm-hmm.
see those things in that level. But on this right here is, will you love me through it all? Just like God loves us through it all. God
God
teaches
did a
us.
God did a gold digger loyalty test on Job.
For
What
real,
he
yeah.
did.
Yeah, that's a good way to put a gold digger loyalty. And then as well as God doesn't have to love us and see us through it all, but just because God, quote, quote, I'm not going to say this all on God, but just because we don't see it as, oh, well, God didn't save my loved one from having I can say the C word, right? The biggest disease that's mostly out here, dis-ease. Or God didn't save this from happening. I lost my sight or whatever else. Well, what is it then? Is it just a one-sided relationship where all you see is gimme, 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 and the moment that they take a little bit is crumble? So look at your situationships, your relationships, and hopefully you don't have situationships, and look at all those things. But first and foremost, look within and understand where you are with God, because ultimately your motives will display that, and you'll also get what you put out there into the vortex of what God has created. God is
Hmm.
everything and not the universe. And people say the universe, that's God's creation. But ultimately, I say it as an endless portal of things, right? That's what I want to say about it. But yeah, it's been a deep, deep dive. I'm gonna let Heck sign us out officially. So I got to get to this other meeting. I'm about 10 minutes in now. So we're gonna have part
So prepare, yeah, exactly. So prepare for part two. Be on the lookout for it because I mean, we just basically cut it off at the climax. All right, so
Yeah, we
get ready
did.
to
And I'm
take
excited because
back
I
off
can't wait to
where
get.
get ready to take back off where we picked up. We might name it something else. We might just have like the Job Revelation and then put part one, and then on the next one change the title but put part two, just so you're aware and you won't be confused as to why, where's part one of the next one or where's part two of this one. Okay, just so y'all know. But anyways, yeah, let's stop it there and get prepared for the next one and the next couple meetings that we have going on. But
Oh,
I
there you
do.
are. Now you're crystal clear. Oh, what happened? I like that.
Oh, sorry about that. Uh,
All right.
I mess with the microphone a little bit,
Yeah, I'm
but
messing with this the whole time, and every time I talk, it keeps going down, down. I'm done with this. Okay, we're good.
yeah, we need one of those put in place microphones. But
Absolutely.
anyways, thank you all for tuning in on this beautiful episode, beautiful day of Rogueness. Thankfully, we didn't have too many discrepancies this episode. I know we've had a couple in the previous ones, but love, peace, blessings. Check out every link in the description. We're actually going to put in some new links that may already be down there, especially for different factors of, getting your own blessings, right?
Absolutely.
So check out the links. Don't miss any of them. I can't tell you which ones are going to be there right now, but look in the description. You'll find something. If not, head over to the www.realdoubledosechannel.com website where you can see some of these more links and see any of our upcoming events. Please join us in the Facebook groups that we have set up as well,
Yeah,
so
those
you can get
links are
more
there.
updates. Yeah,
And it should be at the well, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say the blog spot. The blog spot is getting. Remember, everything's getting updated. Everybody it has to. It's the web, but SoundCloud has more of the freshest links out there, and the website itself. But they go to realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. I didn't mean to interject it there. I just trying to. My mind just burst open with where the links are that I remember. And they
right.
have them. But yeah, like Heck was saying, we're gonna have a display on the website. So you can be like, oh, hey, this is the event, or hey, here's this. So we're gonna have everything right there, point and click
Come
simple.
here.
So you can find everything that you have going on, Lex Effect coaching, different stuff we're gonna have where Heck's actually gonna be one of the coaches coming on with different branches we have, as well as our Sea Hearts operation that you all have been diving to know about. I won't say dying, diving to know about. Yeah. So we love you. You're amazing. And I hate to end it right now, but I'm actually excited because I can't wait to get back in for the second part.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love you, and everything that we're doing right now is for the good of what we got to do. And no matter what's taken away from us, we're still going to strive and keep going and loving God through it all, like God loves us through it all, regardless. Everything comes from God and can be taken away and given right back tenfold, no matter
That's
how
right.
deep or how crazy we think it is. So remember to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of the spirit. Heck, roll over, say your last piece. That's the only way you can do it. What?
We love you all, and we'll catch you on
On
the
the
flip
flip
side.
side.